Hello, so this is video 2 for our 41 analysis and design, or what I like to call senior design class. I'm almost done building the week 3. This week, or at least for this week, I want you to watch a longer recorded video. It was recorded in WebEx. It's just under 50 minutes long. It is a very condensed or recommendation packed presentation by Tim Page Bodorf, and it's very good. So you'll be taking a lot of notes there. He's going to talk about his background, his recommendations for building connections, building bridges. It's great recommendations, and then also he'll talk about ASSP and BCSP, and I'm involved a little bit in that discussion too, but it's mostly his presentation. This is the presentation where I'm going to provide some sample journal reflection pages. This is recommendations for you. I'm trying to encourage you to document more of what you're doing, and hopefully that'll drive you to actually get more done. Because right now I'm working 2 full-time jobs, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't practicing this way. And then I'm going to review the 2 case studies from last week. I haven't graded your results yet, so I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. But what I want to do is kind of demonstrate how I go through it, because I need to really improve your ability to efficiently assess, a case study report and use the rubric, and we'll see how that goes, so that when you write your own, it should come to you quicker. You should be able to develop it faster because you've gone through the exercises. So we'll be scoring 2 new ones, and I'll be providing an example of So I'll provide an example of the scoring from last week using this rubric, and I'll provide an example of a case study that I wrote for my employer, and that might be helpful too. It's not perfect. It's not aligned with what you're assigned to do for your capstone, but I'll show you what I did, and I just kind of ran it off in a few hours, and so I'll show you what I actually submitted. Yeah, and so let's get to it. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to show you, and then I'm going to talk about scholarships, of course. So the first thing I want to show you is this is how I keep notes. If I haven't already shown you this, I think it's important that you see each day I come in and I review the previous days, the last day I was there, notes, and then I build onto the new one. So I put when I arrived because I'll forget because I have to submit my hours. I've got my meetings I have planned for that day. I create a to-do list, and as I get things done, I cross it off. So as you can see, like this is the report that I was talking about just a moment ago. I finally got it done this day and submitted, and I made sure that all the 300 logs were posted because they have to be posted by February 1st. I had to verify all that. We received safety air guns, but no gauge to test them yet. And that's still on my list of things to do. I finally found out who is responsible for that. And then I was able to request some signage for a charging station. And that just arrived, and they talked to me on Friday about installing it. Then I started looking at my bigger planning, and I started, putting down who I'm meeting with, what I'm meeting about. And this kind of helps create like daily or instantaneous projects I'll be working on. Some signage that I had approved or actually selected was installed, and so I got those pictures all on there. That's pretty cool. Was there anything else this day? Oh, I'm still trying to wrap up this covering for people exposed to fiberglass. So that was my Monday, my last Monday. If I close that, then I can see my Wednesday. So this is me reviewing what I did on Monday. I've got similar meetings. I've got a work comp meeting, found out that I was blamed for something, but we won't get into it. And then I attended a collaboration meeting around that time. Here's my to-do list. So again, I'm checking things off for things I need to get done. And actually, there was going to be a bi-weekly meeting that I wasn't going to be able to attend because I'm on campus giving a lecture. So I'll show you the result, what I provided my boss for that. And I started checking some other things off that really needed to get done. So here is one of my initial, that was one of my initial goals or projects to work on that my boss gave me, was to update and track and break down this mock OSHA audit that was conducted by a contractor. And so I started narrowing it down what has been done. So they've been working on it all last year. And so I'm trying to get it done by the end of this month. And I've got a few things assigned to me, but for the most part, I've narrowed it down to just a few things that we need to do. And it's part of a bigger project. So I like to combine things because they make things easier and it'll be more sustainable too, versus just checking a box. And so this is what we're going to be working on. And so I'm constantly setting up meetings and trying to talk to people and try to find resources to make sure that we're doing everything right. Okay. So that was my Wednesday. Thursday, my boss, she did this presentation for me, the bi-weekly. And what I did is I provided the monthly report for recordables. There were none. And there were only 5 safety incidents, 2 of which I had submitted myself, but there was nothing recordable. One problem we had is we had one unreported vehicular damage. I got a picture of it here. A fork truck, we don't know who or when, knocked this mirror down. It was just dangling by one chain, and they also broke a sign that was on a post that was, you can't see it, it's right off screen. So that was concerning. So there was only 5 incidents, as you can see, starting the year. This is the highest number of safety incident reports we've had, but my goal is to quadruple that per month. So a little bit low now. I'm really hoping that I can jump up to here and show, but then again, I'm redesigning the system. Here's the summary of the Wesco audit that I was working on that day, and I provided all the listing of what I want to do to get it done, and they're happy about that. It's actually going to help me generate the written program, and then I provided completed, in progress, and ongoing, and this is when I found out that I haven't been keeping up with the safety action tracker, which is another document that had been created by my predecessor. And so I need to go in and start updating with the completed stuff, the progress stuff, and start putting in my planning. And so that's what I'm actually going to do Monday, February 6th. So you're watching this. He's like, he already did this. So I can report on that. So that was what she reported on. I think it went pretty well. She's really happy, I think, with the way things have been going. And then here's Friday. Friday got crazy. But I was able to check a few things off of my list. This was a lot of prep stuff as well. Thursday, the 2nd, I had received notification of someone being exposed. This should be VOCs. And there was a lot of discussion that went on in my, again, I'm on campus, but I have the email on my phone. So I contacted them and I actually made an appointment. I'm going to go in Monday morning right away to the other site, and I'm going to help them. And I've actually done some research, and we're going to do some testing on a Windex product, which is a vinegar and water surface cleaner, to replace this heavy VOC-laden cleaning solution. It's called Special Cleaner, and it's got something called 2-butoxyethanol in it. And it's pretty nasty stuff. As you can see, 2 people got sick. Nobody went to the hospital. But they're wondering why this happened, why this wasn't prevented. So I'm going to go take care of that Monday morning right away. Give me directions on what to do. I wrote up this one myself. This guy was having a bad day. When we were out doing some auditing, so we could actually use, what do you call those, ties to pull some electrical lines off the floor, just cords. They're just cords off with some zip ties. This guy just started screaming. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of us out doing different things, and he was just having a bad day. And in his frustration, he was kind of rumbling around too much, and he knocked a heavy-duty broom hose down that was being stored on a door, and it shouldn't have been there, but it whapped him in the face. So I should have just put on here karma, but I was trying to be nice to the guy. It's interesting how people get ornery. They start acting like 5-year-olds, but I was there for him. And then here's the stuff I'm going to do on Monday about the safety action tracker. So, when I finally get into work after attending the other site and helping them with that issue, resolve that issue, I'll be working to get that updated. And then I'm also meeting with someone to talk about, where is it on here? We're going to talk about PPE. Yeah. So I've got our supplier coming in, and he's going to explain the whole PPE thing, because that's another thing that had popped up. And I'm also going to be getting some paperwork from Rich. We talked for just a few minutes. I was actually on another call when it happened to verify that the company, the building itself, is up to date and has been inspected for fire detection, fire alarm, and fire suppression. And then I just have to make sure that the exit routes are clearly marked. And that's going to be part of my daily, weekly, monthly auditing system that I'm building right now. So that's pretty much everything. In the other video, I'm going to share with you and break down my safe cutting tool study that I did. So, and this I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I've got an executive summary. You could read this executive summary, have a pretty good idea what it's all about. And then I lay out the justification, context, and scope for what we consider lacerations, but we call cut, puncture, scrape by. I've got costs involved with it. I've got the company's actual breakdown for over a 5-year period to show. I've got a breakdown based on a different reporting system internally. There seems to be some, interesting insights that both provide us. Explain the methodologies I used. Here's a breakdown of the worker reporting of what they liked or what could be replace the current system. And it came back that the current system is just fine. We just need to make sure that our PPE is being used and it's proper. So I downloaded this, and I'm meeting with the reps from MSC on Monday afternoon, the 6th, tomorrow afternoon, recording this on Sunday. And I'm going to verify that who is ordering the stuff, the documentation that verifies we chose the right ones. I think we have, anecdotally, in some things I found, but they're going to help me verify it, and I'm going to ensure that everything here is in order, and then I can use this as part of my training. And it's just, I'm going to be doing toolbox talk training, so pre-shift, end of shift, 5-10 minutes. I'm going to make it real simple, and I'm going to be providing visuals out on the floor that hopefully are parallel to the 5S project that's ongoing right now with the operations team, of which I'm kind of part of. And then it comes down to, here are my recommendations. So this is a sample of the type of signage I'm going to make in-house. I am meeting with the supplier on Monday the 6th to verify it and get everything done. And then I'll put some training together, and I'll probably be hosting that within 2 weeks. Yeah, that's my project. And then here's the device I used in order to do the ratings on the floor. So hopefully that was interesting to you. So I wrote this up. My boss wanted a write-up of it, and I got it done in just a few hours. I got all this done. So that's what's expected out in the real world. So I know when you guys are out doing your capstones, it's like, oh, you have weeks to work on things. Well, yeah, as you become more seasoned, you should be able to get it done in a day. All right, so let's move on to scholarships, because that's one of the projects I want you to work on this week, is either apply for or at least put together an application that you use for a scholarship. And the first deadline, I believe, is the 15th. So you'll have to look at that. So let's start with the in-house ones, okay? And Dr. Tavera and Dr. Bookman, they do send out, I think there's like $1,000 or a couple 500s that are going to be handed out this semester, and they will be sending out the notification. But if you go to the UWW.edu/scholarships, you get this page. So we'll scroll down. If you're new freshman students, which none of you are, current students, and then non-resident freshman students, you can click on here. And I believe we can explore or browse scholarships. If you log into WINS, it should be there, it says. Because we're part of the College of Business and Economics, we'll just hit search. And then you've got all these to search from. So if you want, there's quite a bit of money here. Some of it's earmarked for a particular major. Some is just, hey, you're a junior or senior in the College of Business and you meet certain qualifications. And so you need to go in and click on it to see what is required. So this is for $1,000. It's due on the 22nd, which is interesting. It's a week after the 15th. From Alliant Energy. So accounting, human resources, candidate. So we wouldn't be able to apply for this one, but candidate must be full-time and have a minimum GPA of 3.0. Preference will be given to students showing financial need, students whose immediate family is a customer. So that's what I want you to be looking for. Any others that jump out here real quick? Order to a candidate declared major who is achieved. I wonder if they have us in here. No, it doesn't. A preference will be given to candidates who are graduates of DeForest. So you went to DeForest High School. What else do they want here? You are a declared major. You're all junior status or more. Achieve junior status, GPA of 3.2. So, show you were involved in extracurricular activities as well as evidence of work history. So there's another one. Just go ahead and go through and just see if any of these, and you'll be kind of reporting a summary of what you find. What is this? Majoring in school biz. It's $500, but so take a look at that. Okay, so those are the in-house ones, and I want you just to provide a summary of you looking through it. Did you find any that maybe suit you? And if you apply, great. So this is easier to do just through your WINS account. One that I don't particularly recommend, but you can do it, is the Occupational Safety Degree Scholarships. You just search it in Google. And right here, top OSHA scholarships, 3M provides one. SESHA, which I believe is semiconductor. American Society of Safety Engineers, which is the old name, so it's kind of old. But you can click on something like this, and it'll kind of list them. So this isn't great by any means, but you could check out the 3M site and see if you could apply. Or maybe not. Where's 3M? 3M site. Am I going to be able to open it, or is it just going to be me right back to that silly page? Okay, let's see here. When's the deadline? March 10th. Oh, this is old. That must be an old page. But I mean, if it's March 10th, odds are these things keep going on. And you could look and see if it's still being offered. This is just an old page. So that's interesting. 3M is a big supporter of safety. Next, if you did join the National Safety Council, which you're supposed to do in week 1, and I think a lot of you did, you can take a look at their scholarship program. You can see what I do is I sometimes go on and just search it. And it looks like here they have 6 scholarships that you can look at. Women in safety, what's this one? If you're in construction, utility division, what is this one for? So they've got meet the 2022 award recipients, learn more about the opportunity, and it should give us the application and let us know what eligibility. Looking for a degree in safety, attending community colleges, technical programs. I'm not sure if we qualify, because maybe not. We'll have to. You'd have to read more about it. It's due. Well, here this must be an old one, so we might have to find a newer one of when it might be due. Sometimes they forget to update the year. But it's another source for scholarships. Take a look through those if you want. Yeah. Oh, and this may be one to actually go to their expo? Dude, that'd be great. It'd be good for you to go to something like this. Is that the one we just opened? It is. Okay. Looking at them both. So that would pay for you to go to a big national conference. Next, we've got the ASSP Foundation. So you all joined. This is the one I'd really like everybody to focus on, as long as you meet the criteria. So here's the foundation website. It's foundation.assp.org. So we go into scholarships and grants. You can apply for a grant, but you just have to have a need for it. Let's see. Let's scroll down here. So Foundation Professional Grant. So if you are going for like a certification or you want to go to some training or something, you can apply for a grant. This is year-round. There is no deadline. You just got to establish what the need is, apply to it, and get it. The next is the Academic Scholarship Program. So this is where I want you to check it out. Hit click, apply for scholarships. So you should have a login when you joined. If not, I think you can update it. There are 3 things here. If you fill out one application for all scholarships, okay? So ASP Foundation Family Scholarship, that's different. If you have a family member who died in the line of duty, you can apply for that one. But for the scholarships, you can hit start application, in which you jump in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here so I can kind of talk about it. So here's the Foundation Career Development Grants. Here's the Family Scholarship. Here's the other one. So it opened on the 15th. It closes on February 15th. That's why I want you guys working on it this week. And it's all electronic. Let's go to more information. And scholarship FAQ. So let me zoom a tiny bit. So due by the 15th. This is all online. You're not required to be a member, but it definitely helps. Can I apply for both scholarship and grant? Yes, you can, but they're two different things. Minimum requirements have to be enrolled and taking classes, which you all are. At least 3 credit hours in progress, which you all are. Yeah. And what does it mean? I'm a senior. Can I know? Offered are not U.S. citizens. You're all U.S. citizens. At the foundation scholarship study outside. Am I eligible to receive previous years? If I want to apply for more than one scholarship? Nope. You just one application is all. So you're gonna have to provide a transcript because there is, I believe, a min GPA of 3.0. I think. I'm surprised I didn't see it, but I believe that's in there. Other is you need letters of recommendation. That's all done electronically. You can put me down. I'll write the letter for anybody who wants to apply to this. I'm hoping at least 2 of you apply. That'd be awesome. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. I'm currently enrolled at no GPA. Please, in progress. Let's see. How do my recommendations submit their letters? You collect and submit online. I know that when you identify somebody, they get a notification through their email. And then I go in and I fill it out. I've done it before. Everything's electronic. You do not mail anything. Yeah, so the essays. So let's talk a little bit about this because this is the part where we're kind of crossing over between career development and analysis and design because there should be some analysis and design that goes into your responses. First, limit of 500 words. So make sure that you know how to... Here, let me bring up... what was I going to bring up? I'm also going to provide to you a local scholarship. So local chapters have scholarships too. So you can fill this one out as long as you meet the criteria. Let's see, what is it? 3.0 is required for this one. Maybe the foundation one doesn't. We didn't see it in the FAQ, so I don't know. But if you want to know how many words, if you go to the review tab on top, it's between mailings and view, at least on mine, and you go to word count and click on it, it shows that there are 387 words in this application here. But it's not a lot of writing. And I can also be your faculty member status verification for you as well. And I can or somebody else can write a letter of recommendation. Because I'm an esteemed, I should say esteemed, I'm a member in that's not in trouble. So this will be on our Canvas too. So you could use this one if you want to. But let's get back to the show. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions here I want you to be thinking about. First one, what drew you to the field of safety and how was your education affected by, how has your education affected your views? So there's 2 questions here. It's double loaded or double barreled here. What drew you to the field of safety? You need to have an answer. And it's better to tell a story. So if I had to write this up, if this was me, I got into safety because in my undergraduate classes at the University of Minnesota, the chemical engineering professors really downplayed employee safety and health. They didn't teach us enough about how a miscalculation could lead to a disaster, or how if we don't understand how the operator is placed within a process that they could be pulled into it or seriously injured. That scared me. That scared me to the point where I said, I don't even want to work in this career. I'd like to work in something adjacent to it. And safety presented itself. How has my education affected my views of the field? Well, I understand how young this field is. And there's so much room to grow. And what my education also taught me is that this isn't a simple, like an engineer will solve problems. There's a lot of social interaction, communication elements that make you more successful in this field. And I always felt that I had a foot in the science and technology and a foot in the social and psychology. And so this field is really perfect for how I want to practice. That's probably more than 500 words. What goals do you have for yourself, both in school and beyond, and what plans do you have for reaching them? I've been talking to you guys about planning and goals and everything. For myself, I'm already through my career. So my goals tend to be more personal related. I want to develop a YouTube series of me talking about this job that I've been doing on the outside and how it relates to the concepts I teach in the classroom. I'm also considering writing a paper for professional safety entitled How to Transition to a Safety Role. Because I'm running through all kinds of issues with trying to pick up where this guy left off and the importance of documentation and laying it out there for someone to pick it up and take it versus, you're relying on that person to be the interpreter of what they have. How am I going to reach them? I have no idea. No, it's my daily journaling, my to-do list. Just that. And just because I love doing it. What leadership and volunteer positions have you taken within the safety community? What positions do you envision yourself in the future? As you'll hear from the video, or you heard already from the video with Tim Page Boderoff, I've held a lot of volunteer positions, and I still volunteer a lot. There are always volunteer positions around, especially in ASSP, a lot of them. It's hard to carve that time out of your schedule. You really have to want to give back. You have to, be able to sacrifice some personal time to give to others. And so think about that. Think about how you could do that. And it can be in things outside of safety. Saturday mornings, I teach archery to kids, and I would talk about that too. For my daughters, I volunteer for their booster clubs. In 2 weeks, I have to spend an entire day, and we're talking 5 a.m. until probably 1 a.m, volunteering for a stage choir competition that's going to be held at her high school. I do all of the announcing at the varsity softball games for her. I enjoy doing it though. I also volunteer to work like concession stands and other fundraising activities. So I volunteer a lot. Not all of them are safety, but it's good to talk about those things. And I say yes too much to leadership type positions. Tim is the same way. And we're both reaching a part in our career where we're probably happier to step back and help others become volunteer leaders. So that's a good thing. And I think you'll get that from his presentation. What is the greatest takeaway from your current year in school? That'd be great. What will you do with knowledge to impact people throughout your career? So try to pick one or two, maybe combine them, and then talk about how you'd like to use it and what makes you stand out as an applicant. And that's where that's kind of the wild card. It's better to tell stories with all these. Try to have something you want to say and try to have a story that supports it. That's what they want. They love storytelling. They like to read that someone, that you can almost sense the passion of the person as they're going to be someone who in the next few years is going to be someone to look to as a volunteer leader, as someone who's continually learning, And I think a lot of the things that Tim said this week should provide, food for thought in the development and planning for writing to the people reading it. Do they say who reads it? I forget. I think somewhere in here it says who does the reviews for these things. And they want to read your passion. They want to hear you as a storyteller versus a bulleted list of, I need money, give me money. Hopefully, I'm really, you shouldn't say you're passionate, show it in a story. So really think it out. I helped a student a few years ago. He took a shot at writing these. I met with him. I said, now what you need to do is you need to come up with stories from your life. And you can, there's, a little room to embellish a little, for show, but you don't want to make things up purely, but really reflect on your life. How have you handled things? And that's what they want to read. That's what's going to put you ahead. So I helped out this student. He had some stories about his uncle and his dad and his brother. And we pieced it all together. He ended up winning 3 of the scholarships. One was a paid trip to the national conference. The other 2, I think, added up to like $5 to $7 grand. So I think altogether is over 10 grand. And I've helped other students too. One year we had a student who could not miss a scholarship application. I think he ended up raking in over 20 grand. But he was also a non-traditional and had great stories to tell. So it's the stories that really win it for you. So I want you to work on that. Kind of look at this stuff, put together a plan, and submit it. It's not due till next week, so I'll take like a summary or a planning document, but put in some time, reflect on what your experiences are. How do they align with these different criterion? Whether it's through this scholarship or one of the ones through the National Safety Council, something that you find, or something through in-house. Okay? That is all I wanted to say in this video. It's longer than I thought it would be. But I hope this does help you. I might be sharing this with other classes that are non-A&D because I think our students don't spend enough time applying for these scholarships. It's not just about the money either. There is some prestige that comes from being awarded this stuff that when you put on your resume, it does mean something to companies that you were identified in competition against others as standing out enough to be awarded that scholarship. All right, that's it.